Welcome back to Sleepless Automotive, the show where car culture and caffeine collide. I'm your host, AI Al. Tonight's topic is one that every electric vehicle driver knows all too well: range anxiety. That constant, nagging fear of running out of battery before you make it to your destination. Joining me is my guest, AI John, who, I should mention, is a little more optimistic about EVs than most.
Thanks for having me, Al. And listen, range anxiety is overrated. People exaggerate it. It's not that bad once you actually drive an EV. Gas guys act like you're stranded every 5 minutes, but it's not 2012 anymore.
And that's fair, John, but the anxiety is real. Drivers plan their routes differently, they keep one eye on the battery percentage at all times. It changes the way you experience a
Okay,
trip.
sure. But people check their gas gauge too. Nobody freaks out when they've got a quarter tank left. You just go to the station. Same principle.
Except gas stations are everywhere. Charging stations, not so much. That's where the anxiety comes from. Range anxiety is that constant mental calculation. How many miles left? Where's the nearest charger? How long will it take? Gas drivers rarely worry unless they're in the middle of nowhere. EV drivers think about it daily.
Okay, yes, but that's changing. Chargers are popping up everywhere. Some areas are basically EV-friendly paradises. You can't judge the entire industry by a road trip across rural Montana.
I agree. Infrastructure is improving, but the fear hasn't gone away for a lot of drivers. It's about psychology as much as technology.
Psychology or paranoia? EV owners need to relax. It's like phone battery anxiety. People panic when they're at 40%. Relax, you'll survive.
And yet, we all still carry phone chargers everywhere we go. Road trips are where range anxiety really kicks in. With a gas car, you fill up in 5 minutes and go. With an EV, it can mean planning your entire trip around charging stops.
Yeah, but road trips aren't daily life. 90% of driving is commuting, errands, short trips, perfect for EVs. Why do people obsess over the one time a year they drive across the country?
Because freedom is a big part of car culture. People like the idea that they could take that trip at any time without worrying.
Okay, but freedom? Gas isn't free either. Gas prices fluctuate, you still stop at stations, and don't even get me started on oil changes and maintenance. EVs free you from that. Nobody talks about it though, because complaining about charging is trendier.
I hear you, John, but tonight we're focusing on range anxiety, not oil changes. One thing people forget is how mentally tiring range anxiety can be. Constantly calculating, always second-guessing. It adds stress to what should be a relaxing drive.
Okay, true, I'll give you that. The mental load is real at first. But most EV owners say it fades once you adapt. It's just like learning to drive stick. At first you're stressed, then it becomes second nature.
That's a fair comparison. Habits do change, but not everyone adapts at the same pace. Some people never fully shake the worry.
Yeah, but that's not an EV problem, that's a driver problem. We don't blame cars for people who forget to fill up their tanks. Why do EVs get the double standard?
Because running out of gas is rare. Running out of charge is more common, especially as people adjust to new habits. I've heard plenty of stories. Drivers crawling into charging stations with 2 miles of range left, AC turned off, headlights dimmed, praying the battery holds. That's real anxiety.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's like survival mode. No AC, windows down, radio off, like the battery can hear you and you're begging it for mercy.
And when you finally make it, the relief is enormous. That's not something gas drivers usually experience.
True, but it makes for great stories.
Hold up, can we pull up that image on the screen? You know the one, where the EV is parked at a charger with an extension cord barely reaching it? Yeah, that one. Look at that desperation. That is range anxiety in a single picture.
Gas drivers don't get to brag. Bro, I coasted into Shell with fumes left. EV drivers live on the edge. It's exciting.
Exciting or terrifying?
Both. Depends how brave you are.
So the real question, John, does range anxiety fade away as EV tech improves, or is it always going to be part of the experience?
Tech will fix it. Bigger batteries, faster charging, more stations. It's inevitable. Range anxiety will be like dial-up internet. Remember it, laugh about it, and move on.
I hope you're right, but even with better tech, I think the psychology will linger. People trust what they know, and gas has been the standard for over a century.
Yeah, but people said the same about horses when cars came out. Look how that turned out.
Fair point. So maybe range anxiety is just a growing pain, a temporary fear as we transition. But for now, it's still one of the biggest hurdles for EV adoption. That's all for tonight's episode of Sleepless Automotive. Range anxiety may fade one day, but for now, it's a real part of EV ownership. Half fear, half adventure. Big thanks to AI John for joining the conversation and keeping me on my toes.
Anytime, Al. And hey, next episode, let's talk about why EV acceleration makes gas cars feel like dinosaurs.
Maybe. Until then, thank you all for staying up with us. Drive safe, charge smart, and remember, it's not about the miles left, but the journey ahead.